Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to A1 Forever Sports. Hey, it's Atlanta Hawks time, man. Time to recap those Hawks and the Warriors last night. Hawks took a troublesome defeat, to say the least. So last night on the road, third game on this West Coast swing against the Golden State Warriors. Of course, the Hawks was coming off of a big win, comeback win and against the Sacramento Kings in defensive fashion. And they came in against the Golden State Warriors. And, at the Chase Center, I finally got that name right because I was going to call it something else. So it's called the Chase Center now out there in San Francisco, California. But before we dive right into the good, the bad, and maybe some ugly, let's introduce my man T. Will from former ATL Sports One and one time from the Fan. T. Will, let them know what's going on, man.
Chris, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me, A1 from day one. I appreciate you, brother. As always, I'm glad to be here, man, so we can talk some Hawks. I can be found or seen at one time for the Fan, typically on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m., Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Also, I can be found at the number 4, My ATL Sports, and the number 1, again, for My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube, where we air shows 7 p.m. Friday night and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Now, let's talk Hawks, man. Let's get into
Oh
it.
yeah. Now, the Hawks they were looking to try to get them a win for the first time out there in California against the Warriors since 2021. Man, it's been matter of fact March 26, 2021 is the last time we was able to take down those Warriors, pretty much in San Francisco. And we was coming into it, on the ride and on the high, coming off of that great win, great defensive play, really by DeAndre Hunter and Dyson Daniels, the great barrier thief. And we was coming in riding high, but we knew that it was going to be challenging coming into this game against the Golden State Warriors anyway. But that's a good team. They came in 10-3. They were coming off of a loss against the Clippers, a game that they felt like they shouldn't have lost. They were riding high coming into it, and they wanted to, I feel like, get back to Warriors basketball, so to speak. So it was definitely going to be an uphill battle anyway. But I think, man, looking at this game, the Hawks came out. They started out, I feel like, the first 4 to 5 minutes on a good pace. I feel like, they was going at a good pace with the guys. And it was like at point, I believe it was 14-15 Hawks. The Hawks actually had took the lead. And also, you notice that Ricochet, he was getting up some shots early. I feel like that may have been a carryover from how he started the game against the Kings, because he started off, with like quick 8 points against the Kings. So maybe they were just trying to get him going early. But it seemed like, after that, the Warriors, man, they was able to go on a 24-4 run that lasted close to around about 6 minutes before the Hawks was even able to really start getting off the schneid a little bit more. And that right there just kind of like closed off the quarter against the Hawks, as the end of the first, it was 41-22. Just about the first quarter, man. What are your thoughts about the first quarter, T. Will?
I think we got. I don't think we got off the plane, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's jet lag but they out hustled us, they out physicaled us, they shot better.
Definitely.
Typically with the Hawks, even if we get down, we can always apply pressure, play defense, and come back. And Golden State would have none of it. And we turned the
Yeah.
ball over. We didn't shoot
17 times.
Yeah. And we didn't shoot well. And
oh, yes.
Against Golden State, you're going to have to do that. You're not just going to be able to go in there, because those guys can jack threes from the locker room. Like, they're just that good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dude, I don't know if you've seen Steph Curry play live. I have. The man is phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's
I've
phenomenal.
seen Steph maybe like 4 times in my lifetime now. Yeah, so
Wow.
it's just like, and seeing him in person, honestly, watching him on TV don't do it justice. You got to see him in person to see what the things that he can do. And he was 7 for 10 last night, pretty efficient. He didn't have to do a lot. Dyson Daniels was on him, but it's like when he did score, it was kind of efficient, a couple of open shots. And then, honestly, being only like 2 feet away from Steph Curry, that can be an open shot. So, you always got to deal with that. But one thing that I noticed that, outside, even if you just take the first quarter away, not take the first quarter away. Take that run, that 24-4 run that the Warriors had. If you just even just take that away, the Warriors still was able to hold the Hawks to like 30% shooting for most of the game. If you look at the third quarter was the Hawks' best quarter because it was the only quarter they was able to get into double-digit shots being made. They had 12 shots made in the third quarter, and in every other quarter it was 8, 8, 7. So the Warriors defense was able to neutralize the Hawks and what they was able to do. You seen Trey, he really couldn't get into rhythm. It was a couple times he was trying to find his rhythm on what possibly some people may think maybe some ill-advised shots, but I understand, Trey was trying to get going any way he possibly can because they were smothering them. The game plan was obvious. Let's get the ball out of Trey's hand. We really don't feel like if we play our game defensively, anybody else is really just going to be able to go off on us. We just need to cut the head off the snake. And that's what they basically did when they was trapping Trey. They trapped Trey a whole lot. They got in transition. They ran. I mean, the fast break points was 21-14, but it was the points off turnover. They were able to get in transition a lot because the points off turnover was 22-7. That's one thing you just like look at it from the start of the game to the end of the game. The Warriors looked like, so they dominated all the way, but the Hawks were able to make some moves happen. It's just like you said, the Warriors, they weren't having it. They just kept inching away. They had been known for giving up leads so far in the season, and like they didn't want that to happen again. They continued to depress the Hawks. They continued to make us take bad shots, and then at the same time, we just didn't shoot good too. We didn't shoot good at all. We missed so many open shots last night that you just felt like if they were going down, we definitely would have put way more pressure onto the Golden State Warriors, man.
We didn't get off the bus, man, and no disrespect. I love this team. I love this. Right. I love to watch this team. This team is fun to watch. They are fun to. They are talented. They are multi-talented. They are talented. Just about everybody. It's rare, Chris, that there's a Hawks team where the 15th guy on there can actually give you something. But I can truly say with this roster, you got guys that are coming off the bench that they can play some significant minutes and ball well. Keenan Wallace can play. Matthews can. That dude can shoot threes to jack them from anywhere. I don't want to say we have some decisions to make, but it's going to be interesting how this is applied going forward as Bogey, starts to get more healthy, as we get everybody else coming back. How are you going to run them out there is my question, because I think Keenan has earned the right to play. I don't know who you're going to take time from, but I think Keenan should be on the court. He's done a phenomenal job while Trey's out. He's a great scoring guard.
Right.
I just think I think he needs to be on the floor.
Well, I mean, we're going to see what's going to happen with that. That's going to be interesting moving forward because Keaton Wallace has played quality minutes, I feel like, for the Atlanta Hawks. As the, he's had ups and downs, of course, because, he's being pushed into a role considering the fact that Kobe Buffkin made his season debut, pretty much just making the season debut against the Kings. So you can almost say the same thing about Bogey. Bogey played one game and then he was out. So you might as well say both of those guys were making their season debut last night against the Kings and making their second game against the Warriors. Then you also got about this too. With those two guys now being healthy, that's going to start clipping guys like Garrison, going to start clipping guys like Keaton. Do I like it? No, but I understand what's going on because we're healthy. And they were speaking about it on Twitter last night. Actually, the thing, I believe, if I want to quote it correctly, it was giving preseason vibes, and I absolutely agree with that because you're now having guys that you got to work back in who haven't been playing. And
Mhm.
I was thinking maybe if Garrison could have got a little bit more playing time on a night last night when shooting was not at your disposal because we shot bad. So it would have been nice to maybe see if Garrison can come in and give you a spark. Mr. Gary Bird, as he's being dubbed. It'd been nice to see it because he's been playing and he's been in rhythm more so than a Bogey or a Buffkin. But at the same time, it still was like defense. Um, I feel like the Hawks didn't do terrible as far as like defense from the 3-point line. I mean, the Hawks hit 12 threes, Warriors hit 14. But
Mhm.
Warriors kind of played the Hawks game against, gave them a taste of their own medicine, played their own game against them because just the points in the paint battle, we got slaughtered, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't normally get beat up in the points in the paint this
Normally,
season so far. And that's a category that we're normally winning. And not last night, 62-40. And it really was worse than that. It's like the Hawks was able to climb back and cut into that a lot. I believe at halftime it was like 34 to like 16 or something like that. So I mean, the Hawks was able to cut into it a little bit. But that's one thing that just stood out for me also, outside of us missing a lot of open threes. Shout out to Brad Rowland because he pointed that out as well, as like the Hawks were just missing a lot of open threes last night. And that's another thing that you just can't have too, because if consider in the NBA 6 feet, 6 feet or more is like a wide open shot. And the Hawks, they were missing a lot of those. So again, shout out to Brad for the metrics on that, because you can't have that, man. Again, especially against a team like the Golden State Warriors, who they're going to run pin downs, they're going to run back screens. You have to be on point all the way around. And if you look at the Hawks' defensive rating as well, too, just player by player, the lowest ratings were Bogey and Buffkin, at 90 and 92 respectively. Everybody else was 100 and up. So we got to do better on defense as well. And I don't know what it is, family, but the Hawks are giving effort, what I'm saying, for sure. I don't want to, before I say this, I don't want, people to think, oh man, he feel like the Hawks just out there just bull jiving. No, it's not that. It's like, I feel like I see what the potential of what this Hawks team really could be if everybody can fully buy in and be committed to, what I'm saying, sticking with your man, to not over helping, to boxing out. If nothing else, boxing out. I feel like a lot we didn't box out a whole lot last night.
we
And even though we won the rebounding battle, it was the timely rebounds.
yeah.
It's just the timely win bounds, because we didn't lose the second chance points or anything, but it was just like timely rebounds in the beginning of the game, especially when the Warriors was on that crazy run. It
Yep.
just like the rebounding, just boxing out, and not sticking with your man. I feel like those are things that just really like hinder the Hawks a lot. What do you say? What do you say though, man? T Will.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about
Oh,
that.
no,
Um,
you good, bro.
to me, it just seems like we got out hustled, man. We got out physical. I've not seen. Okay, the first game against the Celtics, they kind of big bro, they kind of devoed us. You know what I mean? They came in
Mm-hmm.
and kind of pushed us around. And after that, and you and I were talking about this run that they're getting ready to go on, and for the most part, they've played well. They haven't won every game, but they've played
Mm-hmm.
well. They've been competitive. They've been there. Last night was the first one you kind of say, you know what? About the third quarter, because I left last night and I had to go and get my wife some Waffle House. So I'm listening to the game. Well, hey man,
Hey, you gotta
it's
do what you gotta do.
the South. It's Waffle House. Left last
Right.
night. I'm listening to it, and it's like, and the Hawks take a shot and they missed, and the Hawks take a shot and they missed, and the Hawks take a shot.
Yeah, Yeah, man, that's the voice, Steve Holman, right there.
Yeah. So that literally they're down there like one sequence. They took 5 shots and missed, right? They got out
Right.
hustled, out physical. I just think that they didn't show up ready to play. And unfortunately, in an 82 game season, you're gonna have one or two like that. You just don't have it. You know what I mean? I don't know if they got in late.
Right.
I don't know what the story was, but clearly the Hawks were just they weren't there. So,
Right.
you just get ready for the next game. But I don't think this is who this team is. This team definitely is
Right.
one.
I
They
agree
give
with that.
they get after it. They play defense. They play defense. They play defense. They
Yeah.
they get steals. They go on fast breaks. And they win in the paint, which is why I know they weren't themselves. Because if it's one, even if we win or lose, if you look at most of our games, especially the last 6, 7, or 8, we're winning
Right.
point paint by a large margin. That's why we
Indeed.
get away with not being able to shoot the 3-pointer. Well, I shouldn't say we can't shoot it, but we're not,
No, but
we're
we can shoot it. It's just we're not a big 3-point shooting team
right,
just yet.
right,
Like
right.
we're not a volume team when it comes to like shooting threes. I feel like there was times where we shot the ball from the 3-point line a little bit more last year than we do this year. So far. I mean, long season, but
Mm.
it just I feel like we shot the ball with more threes last year than we are right now. I feel like we're taking the ball to the hole in the basket, you know, what I'm saying, in the paint, going at these teams a little bit more, and then like we're getting putbacks. We're getting second chance, you know, because we won the second chance battle again last night, just like I said a little bit earlier. Um, it's just like those fast break points and those points off turnovers. 17 turnovers, they was able to convert 22 points off of that. I mean, and what was the final score? 97 to 120. Just saying, I mean, not saying that's the whole game, but that's a game within the game, you know. So and shout out, what it do, family? ATLGA Faithful, man. Make sure y'all check him out on YouTube, man. Doing this thing, representing those Atlanta Falcons, those dirty birds, man. Shout out to you, D, man. What it do? And also Robert Blackman in there, always, you know, checking in. Shout out to Robert, man. He says, I feel better with this team than I did with others. Indeed, because this team has heart. This team has potential. And one thing that we got to remember as Hawks fans, and talking to myself as well, I'm not excluded. We have to remember that this is a young team. We have to remember that they're still learning how to win. And they went up against a team that have been playing together. Yeah, they have a new piece or two, but I mean, at the end of the day, some of those pieces are still veterans. And then also you have enough veterans on that squad, being Steph, Draymond, where they got Moody, he's been over there, Kaminga, he's been over there, Looney. I can go on and on about guys who have just been in that system and it has bought into what Steve Kerr wants to do. You're still having guys over here who we're still figuring things out. And at the end of the day, our urgency is still being, you know, it's still being tested and it's still being defined. Where I feel like we're fine tuning it, and but it's just like, come on, guys, like it's like some nights we see it, like it's not all the way there, but it's like okay, you're getting closer, and then it's like it feels like you take a step back. But again, it's going to be up and down with a young team.
I didn't realize the Warriors were that big. Now they're
Oh
they're not
yeah, yeah, they got
they're not
size.
big.
They got some
That's
size.
a big team, man. That's a
And
that's
and
a
the thing about it is too, they got guys, enforcer type guys like Draymond, and I even would throw Looney in there too as being one. Just figured like you said about being just big guys, they do, and then they challenge at the rim. And a lot of times, I mean, they was at home too, but a lot of times they can challenge without fouling. And that was something that hurt the Hawks a lot too, because the Hawks were driving on them. They were getting into the lane. Trey were getting into the lane. They were anytime Trey would get into the lane, I feel like they were collapsing on Trey, especially
yeah.
with Andrew Wiggins and what's my man? Waters third. You know, so they were really just trying to collapse him, and of course, you know, get him out the pocket. Then Buddy Hield, he came in shooting. He came in shooting off the bus. Came in like hit his first 3 shots, and it's just like, what in the world? So it's just like, you know, you had an uphill battle. And then I'm gonna tell you something that I forgot. And you know, they lost DeAnthony Milton for the year, but something that I forgot was Kyle Anderson. Kyle Anderson came in and helped run the offense. And as slow as he plays, it's still his game. And he was able to still come in and be effective at give the Warriors some good quality minutes as well. But ultimately, man, it's not shout out to the Warriors as far as like being able to play your game and so against this young Hawks team and pretty much dominate them for the most part. So of course it could have been way worse, but the Hawks was able to chip. And that let it's a credit to their fight, the fight that the Hawks have, as a team. And they're learning, they're getting it together. I'm not necessarily worried. I think this was one of those things where it's just like, I mean, you ran into the Warriors, okay? They got that pedigree over there. They came to play. I feel like somewhat we didn't get off the bus, but I think we did. We just wasn't able to shoot. We just couldn't knock down anything. It was a stretch to where it just seems like about 6 or 7 shots in a row, like we kind of like just missed, and including free throws. So
Yeah,
it was just an uncharacteristic night, and I just feel like it's just the grind that the Hawks have been facing, the schedule grind the Hawks have been facing, and you're gonna have nights like that, man. You are gonna have nights like that. As far as Ricochet, how do you feel about the minutes that Zach Ricochet is playing right now? And do you think that he's going to be a factor moving forward, considering the fact we are getting back healthy? Like, you feel like he's going to get more minutes, less minutes? Like, how do you feel? Because I did see that that's kind of like a topic of discussion on Twitter right now, too.
I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle, right? I mean, look, you drafted him number 1. How can you? I mean, really? Like, how's that gonna go? Yeah, he's our number 1 pick. We're gonna decrease his minutes and let him get in the game for about 10 minutes. No, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you'll. I think you might take minutes away from somebody else, but I don't see you. Excuse me, taking minutes away from Ricochet. I just don't. He can dribble. He can shoot. He can score. He can make a pass or two, and he's only going to get better. He's very young. So why play him less? Especially with Dre's knee that, he's not going to be able to play every day anyway. With those knees, got to get him drained. So no, I don't think his time will decrease. What about you?
Yeah.
What do you?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's going to be a game-to-game thing. They're bringing Zach along slowly, and that was to be expected. Honestly, even though he's the number 1 pick, I was saying before, I feel like they're going to bring him along slowly. It's just like you got to think about like what would his minutes would have been if Dre never did have to miss any time at all. Like if he just came into the season good to go, didn't have to miss any time or be on this minutes restriction or should I say game restriction load management like how he is now. Zach, what I'm saying, he's going to eventually be like the full-time starter. He's starting, but like you can definitely tell that they're still bringing him along. He'll play a 5, 6, 7 minutes. The next thing you know, he's subbing out. And it's just like getting up until about 20 minutes a game. And last night, I know, shout out to Larry from the Dixon Way. I know he was saying that about 6 of his minutes last night was like kind of in garbage time, where it's like what are you going to learn from that? Because the game is already over. And
Right.
And I understand that point of view as well and respect that. But at the end of the day, it's still like he's getting on the court. I do want to see if he gets 20 minutes or more moving forward, depending on matchups and depending on load management with Dre. I feel like he is going to get more than 20 points a game because, excuse me. It'd be nice if he get more than 20 points a game, but 20 minutes a game, so for these Atlanta Hawks, I can see him getting that just because Dre is not going to be an everydayer. And that's going to be, part of the recipe about bringing him on slowly. I think Bufkin is going to start getting more minutes just because he's the number 1. He's not the number 1. He's a first round pick. Excuse me, y'all. He's a first round pick 15. And you look at Keaton Wallace. You feel me? It's almost like the Bijan Tyler Algier thing sometimes. Sorry to go Falcons on you, but first rounder to 5th rounder. It's just like, priority. And
I like
Buffkin, you said what now?
I like Keenan. I like Buffkin, but I like Keenan.
I do. I like Keenan too, man. I like Keenan too. Like honestly, I said before, and me and you, we both talked about this, about how it's going to be interesting to see how Wallace plays. Then we start to see him play. Next thing you know, he get a couple games, get about 10 games under his belt, and it's like, all right, so now it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do with Buffkin. We see what they're doing with Buffkin. They want Buffkin to be the backup primarily. They want him to get the minutes, and he got up, some shots in both games. It's just they're not all the way falling for him. Kobe Buffkin himself, he was 2 for 5, 1 for 4 from 3, and he played 17 minutes. So he's like, you definitely want more from your backup. I mean, 6 points. He had one assist and 1 rebound. So you want a little bit more from your backup point guard for sure. But that's another guy who only played his second game of the season. You really can't just jump down his throat just too much, only the second game. So it's just like maybe let him get to like game 5, game 6, maybe when he gets a couple of games on this belt, running up and down the floor, he's used to it again. And let's just see, so once he catches his wind, like how will it be then? Because we know that Dyson Daniels, he can play 30 plus minutes, in a night. But can everybody play that? Can everybody run up and down the court like that? Like I want everybody to be able to be in great shape and be able to take other teams down, because a part of your cardio is going to be a part of how you taking teams down as well, man. Holding up on both ends of the floor, especially defensively. So, moving forward, I like the direction that the Hawks are going in. We just got to get more consistent. If Bogey is going to be playing 20 plus minutes, again, he's just coming back, so don't want to jump on him too much. But if he's going to be playing 20 plus minutes, he definitely has to be shooting better than 2 for 14. 1 for 7 from 3. The 3 is your specialty. You know what I'm saying? So to go 1 from 7 from there, 14%. He was 14% from the field and 14% from 3. Because again, going 2 for 14. It's just, you got to have more than that. So of course, and a lot of bogey shots, not all of them, but a lot of bogey shots were kind of open. I'd say about half of those threes, realistically speaking, about half of those threes were about open. So he's working his way back in too. Again, I chalk it up as just a loss that I don't want to call it. I was talking to somebody and they said, hey man, it could have been just a scheduled loss. I don't like the terminology of that. Like, what do you mean scheduled loss? But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I get it, but it's just like I don't like how it sounds. But I just feel like it was just, what you say, T. Will? Go ahead.
That just that doesn't sound good, man.
Yeah, I don't like that term. So I'm just gonna go with
scheduled loss.
Yeah. I don't like
it. I tell you what I'm interested in, Chris, and that's to see how Quinn is going to deploy these resources. Because let me tell you something. This is the first Hawks team that I've seen in a long time that's at least 13, 15 deep. In other words, you could have 7 or 8 guys go down and they could be okay, contingent upon the guys that go down. You've got some real depth. You've got some players that can win games. They've showed it. They went into Boston without Trey, and won. Spread the ball all down. So it's interesting. What that says to me is you got 2 separate squads. If you deploy your resources correctly, you should be able to hang with most teams. You didn't have most of your superstars there for that game.
right.
Yeah, some of them, but I just think with this team, I look at them in a new light. They're not boring. They don't give up. They play physical. They play inside bully ball. They score most of their points in the paint. Think about that. That song, I Go Hard in the Paint, that's us. That's us. And so now that we got guys coming back, I'm trying to picture in my mind, okay, what's that look like? Like I tell you some combinations I'd like to see. I'd like to see Trey and Keenan together. I'd like to see what
Mm.
that would look like. Because Keenan really is a scoring guard. So if you don't have to put that pressure on him, you can have him out there and just alley oop to him or get him opportunities to score. He seems to have an ability to do that. I wonder what that's going to look like. I'd love to see Risa Shea and Dre on the same court just to see, okay, what's that look like? How's that going? What's that dynamic? You probably won't see
I
that
think,
often. I'm
yeah, I'm
interested.
about to say, I think I have seen that for a brief moment. Risha Shea and Dre being on the floor at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, you know what I'm saying? But more so, you see that Dyson, JJ, and Dre will get put on the floor together, and you may have a Trey and maybe a Kongwu. Last night, let me see. What's that real quickly? Because I believe that Okongwu played more minutes than Capella last night.
I think
22. Okongwu. It was kind of neck and neck. 22 minutes for Clint, 23 minutes for Okongwu. But Clint was, he was 5 for 12. Okongwu, he was 2 for 6. But the thing about it is, I just feel like for our bigs, period, the Warriors just did not go quietly at all. They were not having it in the paint. They knew that that was something that we like to do. They knew that we have guys that can get the ball to the hole, like in Dyson, in JJ, Trey. And they were just like, nah, we got to take this away. We got to take this away, and they got to show us that they're going to be able to knock down the three. And then if need be, then we'll change. But ultimately, yeah, I just feel like the Warriors just was not going to allow us to take over the paint like that, because if we was able to control the paint, like if we flip that and we have 62 and they have 40, we definitely win this game. So
without a doubt.
that's what, yeah, that's another thing too. Take that with a grain of salt. That it was just the Warriors just executed a game plan um, to perfection for the most part of the game. We still would have to fight, and we made them nervous. At one point in time, it was 75 to 90, I believe, going into the fourth quarter, and we were down by as many as 31 in this game. So again, you know what I'm saying, just something to look forward to as far as like, okay, well, this team has fight. They're not just going to lay over and die. I don't think this Hawks team is just going to lay over and die. And I believe they're going to be ready for Chicago. I believe that they feel like the Warriors game can be a teaching moment, seriously, and all the way around from a defensive standpoint, just maybe like different things to do within the offense because we have talent, so definitely a teachable moment, growing moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that the Hawks can get a game like this out of the way because you have different moments to where you can learn from in the early part of this season. I mean, shoot, you could have learned from OKC game. You could have learned from the Kings game, you know what I'm saying, earlier in the year.
I see.
So you have film that you can be like, all right, we could have been better here, could have been
Yeah.
better there.
Yeah.
And so box out. For me, man, before I get ready to close this thing out, man, for me, Hawks just got to box out more, stick to their man more, communicate, and definitely run guys off that 3-point line because we are dead last in the 3-point in the opposing 3-point. We give up so many a game. We give up like 16, 16-5, I believe, maybe 16-3 or 16-5 a game as far as like 3-pointers go. And we always letting people shoot threes on us. Like we're last in the league in that. So that's got to change. You know what I'm saying? I believe if that can change, then like you can get those percentages down. I believe that's going to take the Hawks a long way. Seriously.
I mean, we'll see. Like again, I think last night was just an outlier. This team competes, they get after it, they play
Mhm.
defense. One thing I would like to see cleaned up, and that's what, every time you see somebody, that doesn't mean that they're open. Trey,
You're right.
talk to you, buddy. These
Hmm.
passes got to be cleaned up. I know sometimes you're going into the hole, into the offensive glass or whatever, but you've got to have a clear plan as to who you're going to go to. And I see Trey a lot of times take risk and try and make great passes, and they end up picked off. Now, it's not just him doing it. He's the one that I noticed that's got to get cleaned up. But, again, outside of, I just don't think they had it last night. You know what I mean? They'll never admit this. Okay. But you play sports before. There are times when you have it, times when you don't. There are times when your fastball is just moving and it's great and it's awesome and you can't lose. And then there are times you can't throw that thing. You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and you just got to be able to deal with it. And last night was just one of those nights to where the Hawks, to me, just never really got started. I don't know what was going on. They never got off the bus. They couldn't compete with the Warriors. They couldn't keep up with the Warriors. And they happen. I'm proud of this team. So do not last night's game. I'm very proud of this team because they beat the Celtics without Trey, and this team is 7-9. Which, if you would have told me we'd be 7-9 at this point in the season, I'd be like, I don't know what that is you're smoking, but it must be good because again, my expectation was we come out the gate maybe 1-15. And that is definitely
sheesh.
Well,
I ain't gonna lie to you, T. Will. I ain't never think we were gonna be that bad. 1-15.
I thought we were gonna suck, man, because I didn't know Dyson Daniels, right? I didn't know he would. I mean, let's think about it. Dyson Daniels is a stud,
right? I mean, for the Hawks, he's been everything that we've been looking for. The defensive presence, the person who will take on the best offensive player, that they got. And again, it makes it great for guys like Dre, guys who've been on the island by himself, guarding different people. And now I have some help. And then, JJ, he's getting a little bit better at defense. I believe when he gets it together, it's gonna go even further. Not saying that he's bad now. I'm just saying once he even improves and gets even better on his defense. Same thing with Ricochet, and he's not bad either. Ricochet moves his feet. Ricochet on the pin downs, like he's still right there. Like, he uses his length, and he guards most of the time without fouling. Like straight up in the air, hands up in the air. Move again, like a very important part is the fact that he moves his feet as a young guy. Like some guys don't come in being able to move their feet, being able to recognize and go over the screens. Of course, that's another thing too, by the way, that the Hawks do a little bit too much is go under the screen. Like we got to fight through over top of those screens all the time, maximum effort. But that's another thing. Shout out to the Dixon Way. I mentioned him earlier, and he says Dyson is what Cam Reddish was supposed to be. You can't really disagree with that. You can't really.
I don't even like them putting the moniker of Cam. Don't do that to Dyson. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I see what he's saying, though. I see what he's saying.
I just don't do that. Let me tell you something. My son and I we've had an argument for about, how long has Cam been in the league? 5-6 years?
Around that area now, yeah, because around the same amount of time as Trey, right?
Yeah, my son loves Cam Reddish. Absolutely loves him. Loves Cam Reddish. And has said
I used to.
I never loved Cam because Dixon Way wants to come in, man.
Yeah, I used to think that Cam had all the potential if he just put it together. I feel like he had the raw tools. Yeah, I feel like he had the raw tools, and if he put it together, he could have done some things. I always liked Cam at one point in time over Dre, but it wasn't like I was just saying that Dre was trash. It's just I felt like Cam had the upside for the better offensive game, and the one that can put the ball in the baskets and probably like take some pressure off of Trey. That was I was thinking for Cam, and then Dre was going to be the defensive stopper. So the guy that's going to go lock up the best person, night in and night out. And I was like, okay, well, it can balance out. I was absolutely wrong. Because Cam, I think it's up here for him mostly. I still think he has all the ability to possibly be whatever he wants to be, but it got to start up top. You know, so that's another thing too, man. We got Dixon Wade about to come in, man, real quick. Give his thoughts about the game. Larry, what's
Hey,
going on, man? Oh, can't hear you. Can't hear you, brother.
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Oh, there we go.
Hello?
There you go. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we good now.
Yeah, I'm on the phone. Appreciate you guys having me on. Yeah, that was rough last night, and it was a long game too. And
Yeah.
late night, I'm still
Yeah.
feeling the effects. Hey, that's what you do. Get what they want. Yeah, last night. I mean, we got beat by guys. I don't really want to get too upset or too high, too low.
Yeah.
They're the number one team. They play 12. They're always fresh. They hit you with waves. They're a great three-point shooting team. They're excellent fast. Blow. You know, they're a shorter version of the Boston Celtics. You don't know the names besides Steph and Draymond. They got a lot of good people that fit their system, and they just outplayed us. And it's nothing we could really did about that, but learn and get better. Play hard, get better, as Damon would say. Shout out to We Talk Hawk TV.
yeah. They just seemed last night like we got out physicaled. It honestly, I don't know if it was jet lag. I don't know what it was, but we didn't have our same vigor. We didn't have our same sense of. We just, we kept making mistakes. We kept throwing the ball away. We kept making turnovers. We kept making ill-advised passes. We didn't shoot well. We didn't shoot well at all. And that, and not only that, Dixon Way, but we typically bully people in the paint. Like, even if we don't win, we typically will score more points than the other team will in the paint. That was not the case last night.
Oh no.
Can you
Yeah.
talk through that? And I hear you, Dixon. What was that?
Oh, you just put yourself on mute. Okay, there we go.
Oh, no. I said that was a great point because we normally do dominate people in the paint. But we do want to, and we begin in the shootout with the Golden State Warriors. What a smart idea by the head coach.
Yeah.
Let's shoot 49 3-pointers. Yeah, that's that. How that work out for you? Again, we shot 33% from the field and 23% from three. So yeah, that wasn't really a smart idea to try to match Golden State 3 for 3.
Right.
We got behind and stayed behind.
We got behind.
Yeah, we're a horrible 3-point shooting team, and we're a horrible free throw shooting team. So when you couple that together, you're trying to do a shootout with a shootout team, you get your backs blown out, basically.
That's true. That's
62 to 40 as far as like the points in the paint. That's why I was saying earlier, Dixon Way, man. I was like, it felt like the Warriors took their game plan, added some of our game plan, and said, hey, look, this is how we're going to play you tonight. You come into the paint, we're going to play without fouling. We're going to challenge you at the rim every time, and we're going to beat you up in the paint before you have the chance to beat us up in the paint. Like, and it just, there was nothing that the Hawks can like do for it after that. Really, after that 24-4 run, I felt like the Warriors could like.
You're frozen, Chris. Oh man, Chris, you're there. Chris, you're frozen. Ay. Dixon, where you there? You guys are frozen. All right, you guys there? I think I see you.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. I think Chris froze. Chris, you there? Yeah, but
yeah, I'm still here. My bad, brother.
All
got
good,
some
man.
people doing some things for me over here.
All good, man. All good. Yeah. You know what else is interesting? I didn't see that they let a lot of stuff go last night. Like, I did not see a lot of fouls called. Like, they really let them play. No.
They let Golden State play against us. They get
I didn't want to say that. Well,
so say it. I mean, because it's the truth. You seen it was a lot of fouls that wasn't called for Atlanta, and I try not to go into the whole thing about refs. I
Yeah.
try not, because I hate when, like, the story is about the refs
Right.
instead of
Right.
about the players and about the teams.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the refs, they didn't do us any favors last night at all.
I didn't think so, but honestly, I watched the first half. I had to go and get my wife some Waffle House and came back, did some other stuff, listened to the game the second half, but I didn't want to assume. But what I saw from the first half was if we went to the hole, we didn't get a call. They did, they got it. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I didn't see the second half, but apparently it was more of the same. Because there were a couple of times where Trey and others went to the hole and got pummeled, and it was not called. So, that was another thing that was interesting about it. But we just got to learn from it. And at the end of the day, look it, man. I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of the way this team competes. I'm proud of the way this team gets after it. I'm proud of the way this team plays defense. And I think they're a decent team. And honestly, I'm going to go on record and say, I think we're going to finish with a winning record. Now, we might be only a couple of games over 500, but I feel like this team is only going to get better. And to the extent that we don't sustain major injuries, I think we are going to be a winning team. So that's me. I love this team. I love the way they play. I love their grit. I love their defense. I love everything about them. I think they're only going to get better. But last night was just one of those games we didn't have it. That's just my thoughts, guys.
That's true. Dixon, what you got to say, brother?
When I look at this team, the thing that's alarming to me, that I would like keep an eye on is Zachary Richey only played 19 minutes last night, and that's like 5 minutes worth of garbage time when he emptied the benches, when he just made the white flag. So imagine if we were in a close game. Zachary Richey would have played only 13 minutes, guys, as the number one pick. Guys, this was a problem with our head coach in Utah. He would not play, and it's starting to rear its ugly head again. Hopefully, he was just happy to see all of his regular players, there again. But I mean, if you want to keep it funky, yeah, that's not a good sign. And we know Kobe just getting back, but hopefully he can work out his kink, because right now Keaton Wallace was playing better than him, if you want to keep it up. So
no, absolutely. That's why it was going to be interesting when Kobe returned, but it's because of how good Keaton has been.
It's interesting that he just said that, because we talked about this off camera, and B, we just got through talking about this Dixon way. Yeah. I don't see why Keenan is not in that regular rotation. Hell, I'd like to see how Keenan would work out with Trey. Not that he'd start over Dyson, obviously, but I'd like to see some combinations in there. But I think Keenan has earned some playing time. Definitely earned some playing time. So
I agree.
The problem is he's on a 2-way contract, and we don't want to get in the situation that we was with Trent Forrest last year. Your guys basically can't play but so much because they're on a 2-way contract. So you have to keep that in mind. They can only play half the season before their games are up, and then you have to get them a real contract. So those are the things you have to think about when you have Keaton Wallace. But yeah, he has played well for being a G Leaguer. He's definitely played well, and I don't know. All I know is that they're going to give Kobe Buffkin all the ability to win or lose the backup point guard position.
Absolutely.
I just feel like the backup point guard position and the starting center job is really a point of, man, we got to get this stuff done, or what are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? Because it's nice right now, but and we know you got to give players, especially young players, time to best of the NBA and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm not really stressing on Zach. I like the kid, but again, if his best attribute was to shoot coming into the draft, more so than defense, I say he does have good defense for a 19-year-old. He slides
Yeah,
speed. You know what I'm saying? He
right.
has good anticipation. When you do like go
And
and
you seen that last year too, by the way, in the sample size as far as his
yeah,
defense.
exactly. And if you look at Zach as a 19-year-old, ability to play off of defense, like he has defensive IQ, so he was taught to play the right way. So in my opinion, I look at it like this: we really don't know what Zach is going to be at this moment. I don't think he's a shooter right now. I think he's probably more of a scorer than a shooter, like a rhythm scorer and stuff like that. But what I will say is that definitely need to play him more if you are trying to figure out what he is. Now, if you're trying to win, then I see why you didn't play him, because you're trying to win, you know?
Mhm.
And if he's not hitting the shot, most of the time Quinn is taking him out if he's not hitting the shot. Okay?
Right.
That's what happened with
He
Kevin
did get a
Herter.
little fourth quarter time against the Kings. I was encouraged to see that because normally you don't even see him in the fourth.
True. But I'm just saying for on average, he don't play in
Yeah,
the
on
fourth.
average, no, he don't.
And
No,
that's
he
kind
does
of
not.
what I'm about, is just like, okay, are we going to really try to get this kid some playing time, or are we just going to try to use him like Kevin Hurt Light? If we're going to use him like Kevin Hurt Light, then maybe you shouldn't have drafted
Bro, use him like who?
Kevin Hurt Light. Like
Kevin Herter Light.
Yeah.
Boy, I should have known from the man who calls Gary Bird the cardio goat.
Yeah.
That name had me on the floor when I first heard about that. I said, "Who is cardio goat?" Oh boy!
But when you really look at it, you just say, okay, what are we going to do? Badad was coming in and not hitting like he normally does. So
1 for 7.
Yeah, it's kind of worrisome that he's starting out the season like this. But again, Bogey's going to get into a role. Maybe we need to put the Serbia like name on the front of the jersey and give him
Tell him to wear that jersey under the Hawks jersey.
Exactly. Give him FIFA ball, and I think he'll be all right.
Yeah. Matthews has looked pretty. I tell you what, this Hawks team, depth wise, they're deeper than, in my opinion. All right, and take it for what it's worth. But they're deeper than a lot of Hawks teams that I've seen, man. I mean, to have Dre be down and Trey be down and Kobe be down and Bogdan be down and still come out and not only win but some nights thrive. I don't know that I've seen a Hawks iteration in recent years like this. Like this is an intriguing team, because the prevailing thought that I have is, if we can win without certain guys, what can we do with them when we get everybody up and running? Now, again, to Dixon Way's point, that really depends on how Quinn deploys them, right? Because you got to have the right combinations. But I'll ask you guys, how do you feel about it? I feel like this team is a very good team with the pieces that we have. I feel like this team, and I'm going to say it, and you guys are probably going to laugh, but this team, best case scenario with everybody healthy, could easily be a 5th seed. Now, that's my opinion, especially in the East now with the records. I mean, you got what, 3 teams with a winning record? Easily, you could easily get the 5th seed. How do you guys feel about this team, and specifically the total roster, and from the perspective of deploying all of the resources in the right way, using everybody in the way you should, max effort? What do you guys think this team should be And Chris, I'm sorry, Wait, go ahead. I'll start with you. What you got?
I'm thinking 41-41 personally. We've been way too injured, way too much, and it's just the beginning of. We ain't even got to the quarter mark of the season yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to see what we are before I make any kind of playoff predict. Playoffs? What are you talking about playoffs? Playoffs?
Right.
We're trying to win the game right now. We're trying to find some continuity. We're the first team in the NBA that got worse when we got our full assortment of players. So I just can't sit here and say I don't know what we're gonna do. We beat people without our best player. We lose to teams that we shouldn't. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's just legitimate.
Dixon, I got a question for you because you bring up
from night to night.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you out, man. You were kind of cutting out. To your point, though, right? We lose some games that we shouldn't. We seem to have played better when certain resources were out. Is that coaching? Is that the deployment of resources that are together? That what? Because look, if I cannot talk today. If some of our stars are out and we're winning with basically our bench guys, then when our stars get back, we should play better. What do you think? What do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
I don't know about that. We play different with different lineups on the court. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not people sitting around waiting for one person to score. It's no slight against Trey. It's just we play and coach differently when Trae Young isn't there, and that has been proven right now. Not saying that I want to get rid of Trae because I don't. I just want to find out how can we maximize Trae potential,
right?
Roster that we have, that's kind of where I'm at on the whole situation. And if we're running one thing because either we can adapt or it's just our best player's favorite style to play, then that's the thing. So I don't know, man. I just want us not to waste this player's talent and time like we did Dominique. That's it. I don't want us to waste another Hall of Fame talent. You know what I'm saying? Sitting here with a cheap owner, because I think the owner is the problem. So I don't know what we're gonna do until we get a new owner. That's my honest opinion. We can't sit around and be cheap about things and think we're gonna be a championship team. That never works. It never works. So even the team and people harken back to the Pistons, they were not a Hall of Fame laden team, but they weren't a cheap team either. So I fight back against all of that. But
right.
Our owner really get it's about playing and winning. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Hey, that's respectful. That's definitely respectful opinion, man. Well, regardless, man, that's definitely gonna be another topic for another day. I definitely appreciate you guys coming on, telling me how you guys feeling about this game against the Golden State Warriors. We got the Chicago Bulls coming up. NBA Cup action. NBA Cup, we're back. And I believe that the Hawks are going to show up. I believe they're going to play a way better game than they did against the Golden State Warriors. I mean, the Bulls are not the Warriors, but they did take it to us the last time that we seen them. So it's time to get yet another lick back, if you know what I mean. But this time, NBA Cup style. But yeah, man, guys, please, so let the people know where they can find you, T. Will, and then Dixon Wade.
Yes, sir. And first and foremost, when the Bulls get here, I'm sorry, let's make some steak, man. I want mine medium well. I'm just saying. Get a little baked potato off to the side, man. Hey, let's show the Bulls how it's done. I can. You said what now?
I said put a little sour cream and chive in that guy.
Oh yeah. Hey. And look, if the steak is really good, you really don't need the steak sauce. If it's cooked in its own juices and it's succulent, you don't need the steak sauce. I'm just saying, man. Hey, them Bulls get here. My expectation is we're gonna eat some steaks, man, because we're gonna tear
All
up
right.
some bull hide. But anyway, I'm on One Time for the Fan, typically Wednesday nights, 9 p.m., Friday mornings, 9 a.m. I'm on my channel, which is the number 4, my ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. Say again, 4, my ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe to both. Chris, as always, brother, love doing shows with you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me. And as long as you keep inviting me, I'll keep coming back, brother Dixon Way. Hey, man, you're first class. I'm just glad to share the screen with you. Anytime you're on, the show automatically gets better. You know how I feel about you.
Yes,
And yeah, man, to the fans who came in this chat, thank you all. You could have been anywhere in the world. You decided to spend some time with us, so thank you. And last but not least, I want to thank God, because wouldn't be here without him. And I want to thank my boy Jack Spade and my brother Eric Parker, because they gave me a shot in this business. So there you go. Dixon Way, on you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you guys having me on. As always, guys, make sure you hit the like button. It's the lifeblood of all of our streams. Help us get in the algorithm, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Hold up, son. Yeah, you can find us at the Dixon Way on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Rumble, and X. Try to bring some entertainment and commentary to your regular scheduled programming. That's about it. And yeah, I think the Hawks should do well against the Bulls. It's going to be a cup game, and we can really take control of possibly making it to Vegas. So I feel really good about that, and I'm looking forward to the Hawks to going and winning this game, going 3-0 in cup play, and take a stranglehold on it so we can make it Vegas. Because hell, I'll be honest, if the Hawks win a Vegas Cup, NBA Emirates Cup, they're gonna hang it right by Mutombo and Dominique, and I wouldn't be mad at it. I would not be mad at it. Without
Not at all.
It's baby steps, so I would love that actually.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
like
when
you
would
said,
the cup be held in Vegas? When would that be?
It's in 2
it's
weeks.
in December, right?
Yeah. It's at the start of December. So they try to. I think they're gonna do like I was saying, try to make it so the championship kind of busts up against or right next to Christmas. See, that'll be the best way. So, in my opinion, I thought they should do it on Christmas. That way everybody be watching, and then you can still have your Christmas games. You know what I'm saying? Minus, if someone's not in there because they're in the NBA Cup. But yeah, I feel like you should have ran it on Christmas because most people are used to watching NBA on Christmas. So I don't think it's a bump up against it. But again, I mean, it'll be close. It's in December, so they'll end in December. Like I think it's like this first or second weekend of December when they play.
I think it's like the second week. I think it's like the second week or something like that. Because I know we played Denver on the 8th of December. And that's not a tournament game or anything like that. So that's why I'm just thinking, I was like, it's sometime after that game to where like they're gonna have like the finals and everything. And hopefully we're one of the final 4 teams. That's what we're definitely trying to do. Because like you said, it'll be baby steps. I wouldn't be mad about it at all if the Hawks are playing in Vegas at all.
I bring it up because the Falcons are in Vegas December the 15th, and wouldn't that be something if you had both the Falcons and the Hawks out there in Vegas at that? Like, wouldn't that be something, man?
That'd be awesome. Falcon fans go out there and chill on the Hawks too.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'd be one of them.
Yeah, and the Vegas game with the Raiders is a Monday night game.
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that'd be cool, but yeah, man, I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, it's all good, man. Hey, it'll be great, man. Like honestly, it'll be good for the city. It'll be good for the morale of, what I'm saying, thinking about what this team possibly can be. and a step in the right direction if we actually can make it all the way to Vegas. I mean, right now we're looking good, 2-0. We got to play Cleveland. I know we got to play them 2 times, man. We got to play them like Wednesday, and then we got to play them the Friday after Thanksgiving, and I believe that's the Cup game.
Yeah.
So
you better beat the Bulls. That's gonna be tough.
It is, but the thing about it is, I'm ready for it because it's another measuring stick, and you can see what you learned possibly from this Warriors game and can possibly take it into a game like that against a top seed, a team that's only lost 1 game right now. So looking forward to it. But man, as for me, you can find me YouTube, A1 Forever Sports. That is the platform. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Really, all 3 of our channels, man, that'll help us get out there, man, into the algorithm, and so people can find A1 Forever Sports the Dixon way for my ATL Sports 1, and that's just like Dixon was saying, liking the everything is the lifeline to getting us out there. So please, and also commenting too, please, have a basketball, football, or baseball conversation, especially when you're coming over here to A1 Forever Sport. Really, all 3 of our platforms, you can have those type of conversations, as we're all Braves, Hawks, and Falcons fans, Georgia fans, everything that just embodies the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia. We are covering it in one way or form or fashion. So definitely shout out to you 2 brothers who are on this panel. Thank you guys for coming on and always willing to do shows with me. I really appreciate it. All the people who tune in to listen, definitely always appreciate you guys as well. Twitter and Instagram, A1 Forever, and also on TikTok, the real A1 Forever. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, thank you all. Thank you, brothers. And in a minute, man, until next time, we will definitely holla. You did.
A1. Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.